Had a little bit of a difficulty here getting stuff ready, but we are here and I am ready to impart a word into your life today. I hope you're ready because this week is Potential Week. We're so excited to be able to share this with you guys, to help you, to help teach you, to help guide you in which way you need to be going in your life. We're just really happy to be here. We're really happy to be able to, just be able to do this. We have the opportunity, we have the technology and everything to be able to do this, and it is just it's fun to do it because we get to teach the people of the Lord what we believe needs to be done. So today, I came up with a message called "You Have Potential." As this week is Potential Week, I decided, what better way than just straight out stating you have potential. And the question we always ask ourselves is, do we have the potential? We struggle with this because, we'll get into that a little bit. In today's world, many men, women, teenagers, and even sometimes little children will start to struggle with themselves, starting to fight with themselves. They struggle with their mental picture. We don't seem good enough. We don't seem blessable enough. We don't seem, caring enough. We don't understand. We struggle with our self-esteem. That's a really big problem, especially in the teenage years. That's why, in the top 10 suicide is, I believe, if I read it right on the website, it's number 10. It's the 10th biggest thing that causes not only just the teenagers, but all. It's the 10th ranked death, of right now what's happening in the world. It's up there with murder. It's up there with, car crashes. It's up there with, drug overdoses. It's all up there. Suicide is up in the top 10. And that's all because we have, not only this younger generation, not only this middle generation, but also the older generation. Everyone is struggling with their self-esteem. They can't figure out if they're worthy enough. They can't figure out if they look good enough. They can't figure out if, I did all these sins in my past. Why would he want to bless me? Why would he want to take care of me? Why would he love me? And you see, that is where we struggle to find our potential. Because the whole base of our potential is our self-esteem. Because if you have no self-esteem, you can't blossom into where you're supposed to be. You can't change. You can't, move into the next season without seeing yourself as worthy. God can't move in you until you see yourself as worthy, until you see yourself as, blessable, until you see yourself as, he can use me in today. That's where we need to start. That's where we need to go back. That's where we need to fix so he can work in us, We have to build our self-esteem. Not only our self-esteem, but we need to build ourself up for God to use. We are his temple that he works through. He works through us, and we spread the gospel. We have to build our temple. We have to build ourselves up. We have to, get it ready to be able to share with people. Because if you can't see yourself as worthy, God won't be able to use you because of all the conflict, because all of the pain, because you're always focusing on those things more than you are on him. And because when you start to struggle with those, you start pushing him away. Because you're always asking, how am I worthy, How am I worthy of his love? How am I worthy of his grace? How am I worthy of his mercy? How am I worthy of his gifts that he gives? How am I worthy for his caringness? How am I worthy for his peace? we constantly struggle with this. And you have the potential. Every single person in the world, every single Christian in the entire world has the power to change, the world. They have the power to change their country. They have the power to change their state. They have the power to change their city. They have the power to change their own home that they live in. We have the power to do it. But we need to paint a picture saying that we are worthy. Saying that He died for us because He loves us, because He cared for us. Not because of our past, but because of what we're going to do in our future. In order to get our potential, we need to never be satisfied with our relationship with God. We tend to, we'll push really hard in the presence of God. We'll really try to increase our relationship for a season. And then we get to a certain point where we're like, ooh, this is nice. I'm getting this out of it. I'm getting this out of it. I'm getting this out of it. I only have to do this, then we only have to do that. And you just sit there. It's like, oh, this is nice. But as I've said before in many of these other streams, we cannot sit down. We cannot fall dormant. We cannot fall stagnant in our relationship with God. Because when we do that, He can't impart more to us because we're not where we're supposed to be. We're not up here. We're not in one place when we should be in the other. We sit ourselves down and we become comfortable. We become stagnant. We don't move. But we need to get up. We need to get up and move again. We need to keep digging in to the Word. We need to dig in to His presence. We need to dig in and we need to learn about Him. We need to pray more. We need to meditate on His Word. We are fearfully and wonderfully made people. You were made by a perfect God. And with forgiveness, He sees you as perfect. His blood, Jesus' blood, covers you and makes you white as snow. It makes you perfect in the eyes of the Lord. And every time you ask for forgiveness after that, and you change your ways from where you were living, each time you need it, He'll clean you. But you have to change your ways. Because if you keep doing the same thing, and then you're like, oh, maybe I'm so bad that I can't ask for forgiveness. I can't do this anymore. Because I keep slipping up or I keep messing up. I can't do it. He's already forgiven me too much. He can never forgive you for too much. Because He loves us. He made us. He made us perfect. Paint yourself a picture today of yourself. Not of where you used to think you were, but where you want to be. Paint a picture of yourself not as how you'd see it, but how other people, how God sees you. Paint the picture of how God sees you. I am perfect. I am beautiful in the Lord's eyes. I am wonderfully made. I look like God. He made me to look just like Him. Which brings me to the verse here. Psalms 139, I'm going to read 13 through 16. It says this: For you created my innermost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know full well my frame is not hidden from you. When I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth, your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book, before one of them came to be. God knew you before you were ever even thought of. He knew you back before creation ever happened of this world. He knew you. And He knew what you could do. He knows how wonderful you are. He knows how beautiful and fearfully made you are because He created you. And He created you to be a earth shaker, a changer on this world. You are worthy. We just need to say that sometimes. I am worthy. I am worthy of what God has for me. I am worthy for where I'm going to be. I am worthy. Because there's always so much, fight in our minds. The mental fight is so strong. Especially in this time. You see it. You see it. You see kids struggling with their own mental picture. You see adults struggling to be what they see as an adult. Or you see men struggling to be what they see as a man. Or a woman is struggling to be what she sees as what a woman should be. But that's not who we should be based off of. We should be basing off who we are and what we can be and what we should be in the Bible. And how do we see ourselves as worthy? How can we make ourselves, see that we are worthy? I believe that we should be asking questions sometimes. Ask God some questions. And then when you ask them, sit there in meditation, in prayer, in His Word. Because most of these questions have got answers in the Bible. You just got to find them. But sometimes He'll even impart into your life a special word that you need to hear at times. So ask Him, what am I supposed to do in life, God? Why was I put here? What possibilities live in me? And what potential lies in front of me? What potential lies in front of me? Now, when you ask those questions, as we talked about, I believe it was either last week or the week before, expect. It was 2 weeks ago. Expect to hear. Expect to hear an answer and sit there and wait and pray until you hear His voice explain to you. And what are some principles of potential? What are some, things that describe us as, our potential? What can we do to show that we have potential or to know that we have potential? And the first thing is everyone has potential. Every Christian has potential. Every non-Christian even has potential. We all have potential in, to do worldly things. Some were made to play sports. Some were made to be politicians. Some were made to be businessmen. Because they were born. God gave them, the mentality. God gave them the knowledge. God gave them the understanding, of what they were supposed to do. Of how they were supposed to act. Everyone has it. But that doesn't mean that you know it from the start. Everyone, also, this just also pops in my mind right now is everyone has potential. But not everyone will use it. Some people will just sit back and be lazy in their relationship with God and not use their potential, and that's just a waste. God has given you the potential to help spread the word, to help, move the word around, to help change the world, to help spread the gospel. God has given you something to help spread His word. But back to my point here. Everyone has it, but doesn't mean that we know it from the start. Like I said before, we need to start meditating. We need to start praying. We need to start getting into His Word and reading His Word. We need to find. We need to listen. We need to hear. God will give you segments at a time. He won't give you the full story. When Moses was born, he didn't know that he was going to free all the Israelites. He didn't know that he was going to see the burning bush. He didn't know that he'd split the Red Sea. He didn't know that he'd wander in the wilderness for 40 years because of his anger when he hit the rock. He didn't know that he'd have he didn't know that he'd have, he didn't know that he'd be a mentor to Joshua. But as he went through, as he grew in his life, he started to find these out. I believe that Jesus didn't know, exactly what he was going to do. I don't think he really knew that he was going to die exactly. Or he didn't know how, he was going to die. It was in there, But God gave him pieces as he grew up. As he grew up on the earth, giving him pieces of where he needs to be, of where he needs to go. And finally he showed him, or he told him, that he was going to die. But it was to save everyone. Paul never saw his full potential. He never saw himself as being an apostle. He never saw himself for traveling around the world. He never saw the boat wrecks that he was in. He never saw his own beheading. He never saw any of this coming. But the way we grow in life and grow in our relationship with God, He makes these things clear. He helps us, He guides us, and He moves us where we need to be. So if you're struggling today, wondering, where am I supposed to be? What is my potential? If you're struggling, just remember this. Give it some time. If you really want to know, start pressing in today. That's just what we need to do. Give it time. Because God ain't going to give you the whole picture at once. He's going to give you strokes of the paintbrush. You won't ever see the full painting right away because the artist does each stroke. And with each stroke, it makes a new chapter in our life. Number 2, second principle of potential. We were created to bring Him glory. We give it all to Him. We were made to praise God. We were made to give Him all the glory. We were made to worship Him. We were made to love Him. And we're supposed to do this non-stop because He is so great. No matter how many years we could live here for 1,000 years and worship every second of every day for those 1,000 years, and it still wouldn't make up for what He did. He died on the cross. Not only did He die on the cross, He was beaten, whipped. When they put the cape on His back and ripped it off, kept opening up his cuts, his wounds. As the cattail whip kept ripping into Him, ripping His flesh from His bones, and as His blood was gushing out. He did that for us. Beaten, whipped, hated, spit on. He did all of that because He loved us. And we need to see that. And we need to realize we didn't do anything to be here. God gave us the grace. He had enough grace to put us here for such a time as now. Do not take His blood for granted. And never abuse His grace. Never abuse the blood. And the third and final thing before we get off here. We can never reach our full potential without the help of God. Without His guidance, we can never reach our full potential. It's like saying, again, back to the painting. Without the painter, the canvas just sits there. No strokes will be made, no different colors will be put in. We will be the exact same. He is our protector. He is our comforter. He is our caretaker. He loves us. We are His bride. We can never reach our full potential without the help of God. Without His guidance, He's our shepherd. We are His sheep. He protects us and guides us to where we need to be. And that is why He is so great. That is why we follow Him. Is because no matter what, He will always come get us. He will always love us. And He will never forsake us or turn His back on us. So I just want to thank you today. I hope I encouraged you. I hope I sparked a new fire in your relationship with God, and I want you to find your potential. Start digging in today. Start finding out what your potential is. Start, praying about it. Find out if you don't know. And, just keep digging in. Because that's what we need to do. We need to love on Him. We need to dig into Him. And we need to share His love and mercy with everyone. So we just want to thank you again for coming in today. We want to thank you for all of the past, people that are watching, people that will watch. We thank you. And, we're here because of you guys. Because you guys support us. So, we'd love you if you could. Please, you can donate. You can hashtag donate if you're on Facebook. Shoot you a link. You can go there after the stream and it, go through everything. You can Cash App, SSM Strong. Give whatever you want there. Or there's always our website, standingstrongministries.org. There's a section there just to donate. You can go there and click on that, and it'll bring you through the whole thing of how you do it. But we're supported by you. And remember, if God's putting a seed on your heart that you want to give, there's a reason behind that, and that's because He has a harvest that He wants to implant into your life. So again, we just want to thank you. Remember, you have potential, and you will step into potential when you fight for God. And remember,